Hey folks, Nathan here. Hopefully this is working the way it's supposed to. This is a little bit weird. What I'm bringing you this time is another PlayStation VR Let's Play. But this is focusing specifically on the VR modes that are available in Gran Turismo Sport. Now you'll notice here, and I can do this by hitting the options button. Notice here that I am in VR. I've got the PSVR headset on. While you're in VR, the game itself and all of its menus play basically the exact same way that you would expect to see the regular gameplay in the theatrical mode, right? The cinematic mode, just that giant screen in front of you. Once you pick VR, okay, you're going to get it says VR Tour is the choice. You click VR Tour, you're going to get this screen here with your game modes up, and now I'm getting a flickering from my HDMI cable that's giving me all kinds of issues here. Come on. There we go. Okay, like mad for me for a second. You only have two options here. We have VR Driving and VR Showroom. Choosing one of these takes you to another menu, and so on until you eventually get into it. I'm going to show you here what the Showroom mode looks like. Where these various cars, I can go to the garage and see the various cars in my garage. Alright, so here I am. Okay, can't do anything with the wheel, by the way, while I'm in this mode. Okay, I have a Thrustmaster T80 wheel. I have to use my regular controller. Now, my regular controller is going to basically allow me to slowly move around the car. And check it out. Come up very close. Okay. Nicely detailed. It feels like these, and I'm saying feel because it's more of an instinct than it is a technical comparison, but it certainly feels as though this is a better class of model to check out than what we saw with Drive Club VR. Now, unlike Drive Club VR, though, you notice no button prompts showing up or anything? You cannot open the car door. You cannot sit in the car for VR Showroom. The closest thing you can do is stand up and look through the window, and it's nicely detailed on the inside. But you can't actually go inside while you're in the VR Showroom, which seems like an incredibly obvious thing that should have been available. And I would note here that this also includes, though it's kind of astounding to me, it includes the Mazda Roadster S here, the 2015 Mazda Roadster S. You can choose what color you want it to look like, whatever. You notice here, I've got the Roadster. Again, in VR, you can sort of see the edges as a little bit indistinct when you're further away. Okay, you get up closer. It does seem to be somewhat sharper, but you can still see sort of the pixelation of the edges. But again, that's because you're in VR, not in regular 2D mode. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stand up and see if I can look inside the car here, okay? I tried this last night. You stand up. I'm looking. Very cool. Hey, I'm going to stick my head inside, basically right where I'm looking here. I'm going to put my head in between the seat and the windshield so I can look inside the car. Because surely the car's model only covers the physical car model, right? Shoomp, I've just gone into a dead space. Okay? So even on a car that doesn't have a roof, it treats it as if it does. Okay, the interior is inaccessible to you in showroom mode. There's some pretty vehicles, and if you like just looking at the pretty vehicles, it's kind of neat. You cannot change your height without standing up. You cannot open the doors. You cannot sit inside the car. It's a ridiculously limited mode that probably shouldn't even be there. It's nice that it's there in the sense that, hey, we get to see the cars. But it's so feature absent, so to speak, feature light, that it feels like it absolutely was an afterthought to include it at all. Then we go to VR driving. Now, this is where it shines in VR But this is about all you're going to have in VR. Now, what's cool about it is check out all these friggin' tracks. Now, granted, you have to unlock some of them as you play the regular game. But how many are there? Let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, we have 7 rows of 5, so that's 35 tracks. 36, 37. There are 38 tracks you can play on in VR. That's actually pretty sweet. That's pretty nice. Okay? Nice selection. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the things that you would think of as the cool environmental things that happen in the game, you don't have control over. Now, to be fair, in Drive Club, in VR, you have control over time of day, and cloud cover, you do not have control over things like precipitation. For that, you got to play regular Drive Club, which is a completely separate game outside of VR. And I don't mean it's separate in that it's 2 separate modes of the same game. They're literally 2 separate games. Gran Turismo Sport, it is all one game. There's 2D and there's VR. The VR stuff gives you limited options as far as conditions and such go. But let's try, hell, I don't know, something that's open that looks neat. I'm kind of looking around. Let's do, I know that sometimes the VR can come through dark for you, so let's try just seaside. Okay? I could choose time of day. I got cloudy and fine weather. Daytime, afternoon, dusk, clear, 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 cloudy. Okay, precipitation does not appear, at least not that I've ever seen so far, to be an option at all on any of our maps here. So we'll go with, how about dusk? That looks pretty. I'm going to put down my controller, if I can find my table in front of me. There we go. Scoop myself up a little bit there. Thrustmaster T80 does have the pedals, so I've got my gas pedal and my brake pedal, and got my steering wheel in front of me. I can pick my car. I'm going to go with the Roadster because the Roadster has an open top, but you do have access to various vehicles, and you can go to your garage. These are like your more frequently used ones. Theoretically, go to your garage and pick a car too. That's fine. Again, scooting up a little bit, pardon me. Alright, so let's jump to the Roadster. Color options, fairly limited in this case, but we have white, white, or white. Basically, ceramic, I still call white. It's kind of grayish. Then we have red. We have blue, kind of blue, then gray, and black. So again, just to make it easier for you to see, we're going with red. Transmission type, automatic and manual. I am using a racing wheel that does not have a separate shifter, so I'm going to go with automatic. And then it will load. And loading times on this game are kind of sucky, as far as both your gameplay in 2D and in VR, and this is playing on a PlayStation 4 Pro. So you may see even longer loading times on a regular PS4. Again, my goal here is to show you what the VR experience is like, so you can decide whether this is worth it or not. Because for some, like me, the reason for picking up this game at all is being able to play in VR. I'm generally not a racing game fan, but thanks to Drive Club VR, this intrigued me, and it may be getting me, now that I have a racing wheel, into actually playing regular Gran Turismo. I keep hitting the options button, attempting to recenter myself. But every time I do, it's like, no, 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 you to the menu. Yeah, when you're in VR mode, that should not be the case if you hold it down, but whatever. All right, so we have the options of racing. So start, replay, car settings, driving options, and exit. Okay. We have automatic, types, traction control, auto drive of any kind. Having to snap at my cat because he's playing with one of the things up by the TV he's not supposed to play with here. Auto drive of different types. I'm going to go ahead and say off, driving line assist, brake indicator, and so on. Okay. Alright, it's telling me what kind of car I have down here, the name of the track, the time of day, the weather, giving me my information up there at the top, including my credits. I do have a crap ton because I got the limited edition, plus I pre-ordered it, and so forth up there at the top. Notice there are only 2 showing up for the starting grid, though. Okay? In VR, your only option is a one-on-one race. There are no time trials, there are no big races, there are no career mode type things, nothing like that in VR. VR is a one-on-one race. You pick the track, you pick the conditions from those 2 or 3 options that show up, you change your car options, if anything, and you just go. Now, that said, there's the body. Get me going here. You get close to this guy. I mean, the visual detail is pretty stunning. I don't really care if I win or not. I just want to show you how this looks. Eat it! Eat it! Bastard! Okay. So, looking inside the car, very nice. We've got our stats there floating over the center line. I love the fact that you can actually use your rear view mirrors. In fact, they're a crucial part of the gameplay, is using your rear view mirrors. Oh, bam! Yep, saw that coming. Should pay more attention to what I'm doing than of talking, but dang it, that's the point of doing a stream, is to talk about the game, right? Most of the time. It's that guideline it was talking about, by the way. Again, I love the fact that with this being the open top, you are able to look up, you see the sky, you see the conditions. Oh, crapola! I have yet to master drifting in this one. In fact, I haven't even tried the drifting instruction stuff yet. First time I ran it with the brake thing, the auto brake thing working. But you notice you got your guys off here to the side. Love it, they're a little too close for comfort. Got your dials, your body, decent car seats. Now, these are the signs and stuff do appear. I don't think blurry is the right word for it, just indistinct, I guess. And you can tell from the lines on the car, you know, that it's, of course, it's an animated car, right? It's a, eat shit! It's, that, you know, you're playing a video game. That said, though, oh, I gotta learn how to drift in this game. I am finding that it's keeping me a little bit low. I need to kind of lift myself up to see over the steering wheel. Like if I was really driving, my ass would like be scratching the ground right now. Let me see if I can reorient that well. There we go, better. Oh, bitch, get back here. Oh, and I turned on my hazard lights. So you got your hazard lights button, various options that are available. You do have your emergency brake, which I haven't been using. Yeah, again, just I love the fact that, I mean, the rear view mirrors feel so authentic. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily think that that would be what I'd be all hot and bothered about, but the rear view mirrors feel shit! And I'm pushing my feet, and my pedals are getting further and further away from my feet because I don't have them mounted on anything, and they're sitting on a freaking carpet. So I guess I'll have to slouch down even further. Ah! Yeah, that was me just checking to see what the emergency brake would do. Not too bad. It doesn't skew me too badly. So if I guess I want to use it on a turn, I could, theoretically. Like right now. Oh, spin out, spin out, spin out. Okay, yeah, that did skew me a bit. Hey, get back here. Love the spectators. Hey, spectators over here. Not a whole lot of them. Maybe it's because it's dinner time. It is dusk, right? Ah, son of a fuck. Yeah, definitely got to learn how to drift in this game because it does not work the same as it does in Drive Club. Not exactly. Oh, and I still got my friggin' hazard lights on. Turn them off. There we go. That's the other thing I need to get used to is the oversteering controls. But anyway, my point is to try to show you just the look here, right? So overall, background scenery looks good. Looks like, you know, there's a haze of the air. Trees and such look about the same, maybe a little bit better than Drive Club, but not by a whole lot. Here, tell you what, just stop. Stop for a second. Stop, stop, emergency brake, stop. Okay, so my car itself, I mean, I can turn around, full immersive environment. It's not like Dirt Rally where I turn around and the back of my car just doesn't exist anymore or anything like that. I can look around. Hey, it's a nicely detailed interior. I mean, the interior, you don't really even see the seams that would make you think of this as VR. I mean, if you didn't know you were in VR, and maybe you wear glasses, and you weren't seeing anything outside, it'd be very easy to think that you're just, you know, just waking up, your eyes are just the tiniest bit blurry, and you're looking at the inside of a real car. Okay, they are really, really well done models of the cars. Okay, again, your view through the rear view mirrors feels really well done. Okay, and then the car itself, again, it's that whole thing of it's a controlled environment. So just like in VR Showroom, if you stick your head into the car, you can't see anything anymore. Here, if I stick my head out of the car, it's gone, right? Stay within the breadths of the car here. But by and large, I feel like it is a slightly better looking VR driving experience in VR than what we get in Drive Club VR. But you have to sort of, I mean, you got to balance that out with the question of, okay, well, if it looks nicer, the looks, I would say it goes from, say, if this is a, let's say from a visual standpoint, this is like a 7, right? Then let's assume, God dang, yeah, okay. If this is like a 7, Drive Club is like an 8, or if this is like a 5, Drive Club is maybe a 6, maybe up towards a 7, but not by much. Or excuse me, it's the other way around. If this is a 6, Drive Club's a 5. If this is a 7, Drive Club's a 6. It's only a small gradation difference. Okay. And I mean, they're nice tracks, and they're based on real-world tracks, and the cars are really nicely detailed inside. It's just one of those things I don't know. Guy already finished. I just don't know whether or not this is worth it. If you're not going to play this in 2D, $60 or more is ridiculous. But if you're going to play it outside of that, then yeah, absolutely, it's got some fun elements to it. Now, again, I'm not a racing game aficionado. I've never been a big Gran Turismo guy. There's a lot of talk out there and a lot of people angry because this is a Gran Turismo game that has embraced the esports thing in terms of always online and that sort of thing. So its career mode type options, its single player options are very limited. Not quite as limited as VR, but still limited. So if you're going to be doing some online racing, you like the competitive side of things. If you like Gran Turismo, want to play the 2D type, but again, you like thinking in terms of other human players instead of a single-player experience, that may be a fantastic thing to pick up. But think of the VR mode as just a cool bonus beyond the base game. If you really want a fully featured VR driving game, Drive Club VR or Dirt Rally is what you're going to want to pick up, depending on whether you like... takes us back here. Let's go to VR driving. Okay, depending on if you like tracks like these, paved roads versus the more rally type dirt tracks. If you prefer the dirt tracks and things like that, then you're probably going to want to do Dirt Rally. If you tend to prefer the paved road experience, Drive Club VR, though there are some dirt road type experiences in Drive Club VR as well. Okay. But in this case, I mean, I'm excited for it just because I'm trying to get into racing games. I've got an uncle who's very much into it, and I'm hoping that if he jumps into this, maybe we can race against each other, which would be very cool, because I know he does the whole racing wheel thing himself. I think that'd be enjoyable. But if I were just getting this game just for the VR standpoint, how would I feel about that? I'd be pretty pissed at spending $60 or whatever it is I spent on this. I think I spent more than that for the limited edition, but it wound up being about the same thanks to Amazon Prime. So, I just want to give you a chance to see that. Again, it is fairly limited. It is going to unlock more tracks as you progress through the regular game, though, which is cool. So you are getting a little bit more out of the VR experience as you get more out of the regular experience. But again, if you're only going to play VR, and VR is not apparently giving me, I don't think, giving me any kind of experience points, or I should have jumped from level 5 to level 6 there, understand that you're going to be stuck with basically just the first tracks. And I don't even know which of these tracks would be unlocked, quite frankly, because I'm already level 5 because I played the beta and they did a couple of the little, driving school things when I first picked up the finished game. So, VR mode, nifty, pretty, enjoy it. Worth it by itself? I would say no. You've really got to want to play the base game in order to play the VR mode for this. This is very much like think of this as when they talk about the different VR experiences, you have games that are entirely in VR. You have games like Resident Evil 7 that can be played in VR or not in VR, something like that, or something like Here They Lie. And then you got games that just have a VR mode included, which is what this one says on the package. And that's legit. It's just a VR mode that is included in a non-VR game. Make that a big part of your decision-making process when you decide whether to pick this game up. I feel that it our element. All right, and with that, hello Haley, by the way. I'm going to be heading out of here. That is nice to know that I can switch in and out of VR, and it's still going to give me the broadcast experience. That's kind of neat. It's not going to give me the camera on me, of course, because I'm in VR right now, though. So, with that, I'll head out of here. Just want to give you a chance to see that, just in case. See, it still says Battlefront 2 beta stream, because I wasn't planning on going into 2D. But, again, just trying to help you make those decisions. For me, the price difference, especially now that Drive Club is much, much cheaper, might be the way to go. Unless you're really big on specific cars, perhaps in this game, that aren't in Drive Club. But I've spoken enough on this topic. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. I will be back with more PSVR live streams in the near future.